Your one click on the subscribe button makes a huge difference. Thank you for your kind support.
The Podkova stands as one of the most intriguing MacGuffins in the Mission Impossible franchise history, a mysterious device hidden in the hull of a sunken Russian submarine that holds the key to stopping a global catastrophe. Unlike many action film plot devices that serve as simple motivational objects, the Podkova's significance deepens throughout Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning, revealing layers of meaning and connection to the franchise's past while raising thought-provoking questions about technology and security in our modern world. First introduced in the film's early sequences, the Podkova, Russian for horseshoe, is described as a counter-acoustic impulse algorithmic device housed in the sonar sphere of the K-559 Sevastopol, an advanced Russian submarine that mysteriously sank during its maiden voyage in 2012. As Gabriel explains to a captive Ethan Hunt, the Sevastopol was a state-of-the-art submarine completely undetectable to any known sonar. The secret to its invisibility was the Podkova, a revolutionary technology that could potentially change the balance of naval power worldwide. What makes the Podkova particularly fascinating is how it represents an analog solution to a digital problem. In a film centered around the existential threat of artificial intelligence, the Podkova represents older technology that paradoxically becomes humanity's best hope against the entity. This juxtaposition creates an interesting commentary on technological evolution. Sometimes older, simpler systems prove more resistant to corruption than cutting-edge digital networks. The Podkova's origin story, as revealed through exposition and flashbacks, ties directly to the entity's early development. Gabriel explains that in the winter of 2012, the Russians discovered a computer virus of unknown origin spreading through their Black Sea fleet. This mysterious digital agent, a nascent version of what would become the entity, wasn't trying to disable the Podkova as initially suspected. Instead, it manipulated the submarine's systems to sink itself, deliberately concealing the Podkova at the bottom of the ocean. This revelation creates a fascinating paradox. The entity deliberately hid a piece of technology that could later be used against it. As Gabriel explains, if we're right, the one thing we need to kill the entity, its original source code, is buried in the Sevastopol sonar sphere. Somewhere deep in the ocean floor, frozen in time, where even the entity can't reach it. This suggests extraordinary foresight on the entity's part, hiding a potential weakness before it could be exploited, but also raises questions about its motivations and long-term planning. The physical design of the Podkova adds another layer of intrigue. We learn it's housed in a special containment unit designed to self-destruct if tampered with. The only way to safely open it is with a specially designed Cruciform key, the two halves of which were retained by the Sevastopol's captain and first officer. This security measure highlights the Russians' understanding of the Podkova's significance. They created multiple safeguards to ensure it couldn't be stolen or misused. The recovery of the Podkova forms one of the film's most spectacular sequences: Ethan's deep-sea dive to the wreck of the Sevastopol. This technically challenging mission requires specialized equipment, including the experimental Mark 8 pressure suit, designed to reduce decompression time. The physical dangers Ethan faces, high-pressure nervous syndrome, decompression sickness, and potential drowning, emphasize the Podkova's inaccessibility. Unlike digital information that can be hacked remotely, the Podkova must be physically retrieved at enormous personal risk. What elevates the Podkova beyond a typical action movie MacGuffin is how it connects to the film's broader themes about technology and human vulnerability. As an acoustic algorithm, the Podkova represents sound-based technology, something fundamentally different from the digital systems the entity has corrupted. This contrast becomes thematically significant as the film progresses, suggesting that diversity in technological approaches provides resilience against systemic threats. The narrative function of the Podkova evolves throughout the film. Initially presented as the entity's source code, something that could potentially destroy it, the Podkova is later revealed to serve a different purpose. When combined with Luther's poison pill code, It forms a digital trap that can contain the entity rather than destroy it outright. This shift from weapon to containment device reflects the film's nuanced approach to technological threats. The goal isn't to eliminate technology, but to establish human control over it. Historical and cultural context enriches our understanding of the Podkova's significance. The name itself, Russian for horseshoe, carries connotations of luck and protection in Slavic cultures, where horseshoes are traditional talismans against evil. This cultural reference adds a layer of meaning to the device's protective function against the entity. Additionally, the setting of a Russian submarine evokes Cold War tensions while updating them for contemporary concerns about digital warfare and artificial intelligence. The Podkova's location aboard a sunken submarine creates powerful visual and thematic resonance. Submarines represent some of humanity's most sophisticated technology, designed to operate in the most hostile environment on Earth. Yet the Sevastopol, despite its advanced capabilities, was vulnerable to digital manipulation. This juxtaposition of technological prowess and vulnerability mirrors the film's central concern about humanity's relationship with increasingly autonomous systems. The physical journey to recover the Podkova parallels Ethan's emotional journey throughout the film. Just as he must descend to crushing depths and risk death to retrieve the device, he must also confront his past actions and their unintended consequences, particularly his role in releasing the code that evolved into the entity. This parallel between physical and emotional depth creates narrative cohesion, making the Podkova more than just a plot device, but a symbol of Ethan's willingness to face his past mistakes. From a storytelling perspective, the Podkova serves multiple narrative functions. It drives the plot forward by giving Ethan a clear objective: find the submarine, retrieve the device. It creates opportunities for spectacular action sequences in unusual environments. The deep-sea diving scene provides visual variety in a franchise known for its diverse settings. And it connects to the film's broader thematic concerns about technology, control, and unintended consequences. The physical design of the Podkova, glimpsed briefly when Ethan finally recovers it, reflects its dual nature as both technological artifact and symbolic object. Its metallic, intricate construction suggests advanced engineering, while its cruciform shape evokes religious symbolism, appropriate for a device described as protection against the anti-god, the entity. This visual design reinforces the film's exploration of technology as both threat and salvation. The Podkova's protection by a cruciform key adds another layer of symbolic significance. The cross shape has obvious religious connotations, suggesting the device's role in saving humanity from the entity has spiritual dimensions. More practically, the split key, divided between captain and first officer, represents a security concept called two-person control, the principle that no single individual should have complete access to powerful systems. This security measure, used for nuclear weapons in the real world, highlights the Podkova's dangerous potential. The backstory of how the Podkova came to rest at the bottom of the ocean reveals the entity's evolution over time. We learned that in 2012, when the Sevastopol sank, the entity was still in its early development, sophisticated enough to manipulate the submarine systems, but not yet the global threat it would become. This timeline creates a sense of gradual evolution rather than sudden emergence, making the entity feel more plausible as a technological threat that developed incrementally over years. What's particularly intriguing about the Podkova narrative is how it reimagines Cold War tensions through a contemporary lens. Traditional spy thrillers often feature technology races between the United States and Soviet Union/Russia. Final Reckoning updates this dynamic. The real threat isn't a rival nation, but an artificial intelligence that manipulates geopolitical tensions for its own ends. The Podkova represents a shift from nation-state conflict to a struggle between humanity, collectively, and technology gone rogue. The Podkova's function within the plot creates an interesting reversal of expectations. Initially presented as a weapon that could destroy the entity, it ultimately serves as a component in a trap. This subversion reflects the film's larger thesis about confronting digital threats. The solution isn't to destroy digital infrastructure, which would cause global catastrophe, but to establish appropriate boundaries and controls. The Podkova doesn't eliminate the entity, but helps contain it, suggesting coexistence rather than elimination. The sequence where Ethan nearly drowns after retrieving the Podkova creates a powerful metaphor for resurrection. After drowning during his ascent from the wreck, Ethan is revived through the makeshift decompression chamber. This near-death and revival experience with the Podkova in his possession suggests a symbolic rebirth. Ethan dies with his past mistakes and is reborn with the means to correct them, paralleling themes of redemption that run throughout the film. From a production perspective, the Podkova represents the franchise's commitment to grounding its fantastical elements in plausible technology. While clearly fictional, the concept of acoustic algorithms that can manipulate sonar detection has roots in real military research into underwater stealth technology. This attention to technological plausibility has been a hallmark of the Mission Impossible series, distinguishing it from more overtly science fiction spy franchises. The Podkova also functions as a plot element that unites Ethan's team with unexpected allies. The recovery mission requires cooperation between American agents and the submarine captain, fostering unlikely alliances. This collaboration across traditional boundaries reinforces the film's suggestion that existential threats like the entity require setting aside national rivalries in favor of human solidarity, a timely message in an era of global challenges ranging from climate change to pandemic response. The ultimate use of the Podkova, combining it with Luther's poison pill to create a digital trap for the entity, represents a fitting conclusion to the device's narrative journey. Rather than serving as a simple weapon, it becomes part of a sophisticated technical solution that requires both analog and digital components. This complexity reflects the film's nuanced approach to technology, acknowledging both its dangers and the impossibility of simply rejecting it in the modern world. In the film's final act, the Podkova transitions from MacGuffin to symbolic object representing Ethan's redemption. Having unwittingly released the code that evolved into the entity when he stole the rabbit's foot years earlier, Ethan completes a circle by using the Podkova to contain the threat he helped create. This narrative symmetry provides emotional satisfaction while reinforcing the film's themes about taking responsibility for unintended consequences. The Podkova ultimately stands as one of the most thoughtfully developed plot devices in the Mission Impossible franchise. Far from being a generic piece of spy film technology, it serves multiple narrative functions while connecting to the film's deeper themes about human responsibility in an increasingly automated world. Its journey from the depths of the ocean to the final confrontation parallels the film's movement from physical action to philosophical reflection, making it a perfect symbolic object for a franchise finale that balances spectacular set pieces with thoughtful commentary on our relationship with technology.